are very important. So number one, when we were all standing in front of you as the alumni of this school, I think it's important that I put that into perspective. Is that during that time, and that is over 30 years ago, the classrooms that are here were mud walled. And when we were coming in, I was telling PS Ann that having jiggers and scabies was the order of the day. But it was still one of the best primary schools in this region. And I came here as a standard 6 pupil. So I did my class 6, I did my class 7 and class 8. Then I proceeded to Mbita High School. Now, during that time, our headmaster was called Mr. Awinda, the late. And I'm aware that the wife, Mrs. Awinda, is around. Now, for a number of us, the husband made all the difference. And it's interesting that one of the sons was my classmate. It was called Omondi. His elder brother was my elder brother's classmate. It was called Kaunda. And part of it was that they were able to show us a lot of love. Like Hesbon was describing, coming to this primary school with shoes and socks, and then you have to stop doing that because of how the environment was. But more critically was that those 3 years for me were a defining moment. It got me to appreciate what it means to go to bed hungry. I remember when I did my class 8, and I have some of my classmates who were within school then. There's Evans Bob, who is now a lecturer at Rongo University. There's Milko Yer, and a number of others. For the 3 days of doing KCPE, I survived on potatoes and water. And I remember when I went back to my mother, I told her, if I don't pass, we forget about school, let me be one of your workers. And there's a gentleman who was with us here. He's called Peter. Where is Peter? So that time, this gentleman was a small boy. I think he had just started school. He had lost both his parents. He was living with his grandmother, who was my auntie. So I lived in their household. And today, he is now a fully grown man who is earning a living. He is a teacher. He went to the University of Nairobi, and the rest of his siblings. Now, why am I telling us this story? Is that if it wasn't for education, he will not probably be standing here amongst all of us as a honorable man. Thank you, Peter. You can take your seat. And the rest of us will not be here. So that is how important education is. And for a number of us, it all began here. And when I look at all the pupils, I want that when they go back to their homes today, they have a different story to tell. That there are people who walked through this field, who walked through the villages around here, who are now important people in society today, who are able to make decisions. And I want to challenge everyone here that we have a bigger responsibility to the next generation by investing in education. Professor Ngondo was here with a team of those who work in government from Homa Bay County. And they've made a very conscious decision that amongst the key issues that they'll be focusing on is to address the development of human capital through education. And we want to appreciate and applaud you and the team for the good work you are doing. The good news for this region is that this is not just only happening in Homa Bay. It's happening across. It's happening in Migori, it's happening in Kisumu, it's happening in Siaya. And every time we get an opportunity as officers who work for the administration of President Ruto, we focus and follow through on the things that he holds dearly. That is why we are here with PS Education and PS Gender. And what we are saying and doing here, we say and do it in every part of the country. Number two, is that as a PS in charge of internal security, one of the issues that we are grappling with from day to day are the issues on insecurity. And around this neighborhood, I know that this is a border between Homa Bay and Kisii County. We have a problem, and we have a piece of land at a center up here called Nyamira. We have agreed to put up a police post there so that it can support in addressing the concerns around insecurity. But even as we do that as government, the people of this place have a responsibility to hold each other to account so that we are responsible citizens, and the young ones that we have been blessed to take care of, we show them the right way by pointing them to school, and every week when there's an opportunity to go to church, we make sure that our kids go to church so that they grow up as responsible, law-abiding citizens, so that we make it easy for the government to also engage in other activities of development, not just addressing challenges on insecurity. The third issue I would want to speak to is what the government is doing, particularly in this region. Away from the discussions we've had on education, there are a lot of government programs that are going on. We have a very